Good morning, guys. Hope everyone's doing well. Just doing a little shuffle here for later. So I'm doing that Pisces reading. I pulled the Pisces card yesterday or the day before, and I didn't get a chance to do the reading. So I'm going to do that now. So we're going to start with a couple What's the News cards and a couple self-direction cards. Kind of see where we're at. We got graduation at the bottom of the deck, leveling up, lessons learned. So possibly learning lessons. Let's see what else we got. Oh, that one really wanted to come out. I'm going to leave it out. And then we got cuffing season. Single and ready to mingle. So this looks like you've learned some lessons, Pisces, especially when it comes to relationships, like romantic relationships. But I don't know. It's looking like you think you're ready. Let me see what we can find out. I don't know why I'm feeling it like that. I'm feeling I see graduation and I see leveling up and I see ready for a relationship on the hunt, but it doesn't feel authentic. And we got memories, that's why. I knew there was something. I could feel it. I could feel there was something there. So it's memories, missing someone. So it's like while you're still in this energy of missing someone from the past, you really haven't learned the lesson. You haven't really leveled up because you still have feelings for this person. So like moving on is not practical for you until you can kind of clear out all, the way you feel about what happened in the past. I'm going to pull some of these. These are a little different. Kind of like direction cards. Like kind of advice, I guess. Let's see. All right, tell me about Pisces. Ooh. Chance, probability, unable to predict or control, uncertainty, opportunities, and adventures. So chances, about taking chances in love, right? Are you ready to do this? And what could be the outcome, right? Because when you're taking a chance, you're thinking about risk, right? And the risk is a repeated relationship like the one you had before. We got find harmony, rejection, self-sacrifice. So this is all about remembering who you are, right? And it came up right under single and ready to mingle. So it's kind of like what I said about really, I guess, accepting where you are at this point, that you're still revisiting the past with memories here, and that a new opportunity would be kind of a risk, especially because of where you're at with your feelings, still thinking about the past and still possibly wanting that, even though it's gone. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to kind of build something new when you're still kind of stuck in that. Then we got lucky symbol. Exercise control, avoid manipulative tactics. So I feel like this is about honesty, and not only honesty within yourself, right? But also honesty with any potential partners about where you stand. Because you can try to hide the fact that you still have these feelings or you're still revisiting the past, but eventually that's going to come to the surface. So like for your new person, it's going to be important for you to kind of be honest and open in order for it to work in a positive way. I'm going to pull a couple tarot cards just to kind of see what I can get on some of these other cards, so like a little more information on it. All right, tell me about graduation day. We got Queen of Swords. And that's the point right there. That if you had graduated and if you were like in a healthier, not healthier, but let's say sweeter energy, right? You wouldn't show up as the Queen of Swords. See, the Queen of Swords is kind of like a sharp type person. Independent, honest, it says open communication, but you have to remember she's got her sword up. She's got her sword up, so she's already expecting something to go wrong. So she's kind of like being defensive, right? And it feels like even though you feel like you graduated and you learned this lesson, you're still being very defensive. Oh, okay. I was going to say, what do we have for cuffing season? But I guess they're running a little ahead of me right now. I'm running behind, I guess. Sorry, Spirit. So we've got, for cuffing season, we've got the Hierophant, Judgment, and the Knight of Cups. Okay. So we got the Hierophant, which is really about tradition. And with the Judgment card together with that Hierophant, it feels like you're kind of like judging the way relationships are typically supposed to work, right? And maybe that's not working for you. And so now you have to kind of really reflect on what you're feeling and what you're kind of being told by your spirit guides. Because your spirit guides are trying to tell you that there is something off. They're calling your attention because there is something off. And it has to do with tradition. And so we've got a Knight of Cups that's coming in, right? Which is kind of like a Don Juan. You know what I mean? It's a romantic, charming, graceful, like a loving type of person that's coming in kind of with an offer, with a love offer, right? But we have to really look at this offer. Is this something that not necessarily is it traditional? Because with the Judgment and the Hierophant, it's kind of like what you consider traditional. What is your, like I talked about this recently, about things being about what's your religion. And I don't mean Christianity, Catholicism. I don't mean any of those things when I say your religion. I mean your way of life, the rules that you hold, right? Your 10 commandments, not necessarily theirs, but what are the commandments that you give to yourself? And that's what I feel this is about, especially in relationships. What are the rules? What tradition? You have to identify what is your tradition here, right? And does this person that's bringing this cup in fit in to whatever your tradition is, whatever your inner calling is, whatever you consider appropriate in a relationship, right? And this just happened to fall on the cuffing season card. So you really have to evaluate the people that are coming in or the potential options that you have at this time, and see, do they fit in with your values when it comes to relationships? And that's something that can only come from within you. You can't take on someone else's values. You can't follow the rules of someone else's relationship because those rules might not resonate with you as a person. So you kind of have to create like the rules of what you feel your relationship should be. And really evaluate whether the person that's bringing this in this cup No matter how handsome, gentle, kind, loving they are, do they fit in? Do they fit in what is your tradition? Right? And sometimes that's not what it is. And it's so hard when that's the case, because you might really like this person, but they're never going to fit in to what you value in a relationship. And then if that's the case, you're wasting your time. Let's see what memories is about. Tell me about memories. Tell me about memories for Pisces. Okay, we got 10 of Swords. What? We got 10 of Swords, 10 of Pentacles, and the Chariot. So it looks like, and this being on top of the memories card, right? It looks like in the past, you were hurt over and over again by this person. Like literally, it was enough to take you down and make you quit. This is why you left this connection. It was all, you took one sword at a time in your back. And once you got to 10 swords, you gave up. You said, that's it, I'm done. I've had enough. I've had enough swords in my back. I'm going to move on, because clearly this is not going to get me to my generational wealth. A person that is stabbing you in the back repeatedly is a person you cannot build with, right? And that's the lesson that really you should have learned in this. When we got graduation day and lessons learned, is that a person that is doing bad behind your back, talking about you, wishing ill will on you, sending you spell work possibly, that is not a person that you can have this generational wealth with, right? The family, all different levels of the family, the children, the adults, the grandparents, the money that you need, the stability that you need, loyalty within this with the dogs. So what did you do? You move forward. You made the right choice. That's what the Chariot is about. The Chariot is about making the right choice, being balanced, and moving forward with the protection and the armor of the divine. That's God's armor there. And you make the choice. Look at this. Depending on your situation, are you going into a battle? Is that what you want to do? Or are you coming out of this battle? You survived this situation. You got 10 swords in your back and you still made it out. That's what I see. I see that all these things happened to you and you still got up in your chariot and you took off. And that's the best thing you could have done for yourself. And that's a part of like building that religion that I talk about. Building that tradition that is, defines who you are and defines what rules you follow in life. Your own personal rules. Okay, I'm going to see, I'm going to check on the next set of cards here and see what else we can find out. So we've got chance, probability, and remember we were talking about like taking chances as far as like new relationships. And we got an Ace of Pentacles. So like as soon as I said new relationships, this card popped up. So we've got the divine handing you an opportunity. But remember, this is a pentacle. So it's not necessarily a love opportunity, because if it was specifically love, then this would come through as a Ace of Cups, right? Because the cups are all about emotion and about more like loving and things like that. But when we have a pentacle, this is about new beginnings. This is about opportunities in your career, resources, abundance, stability, and security. So right now, like the way I see this does have to do with work. And it's kind of saying now is a good chance. Now is a good chance. What? That's weird. That might resonate with someone, that now is a good time to take a chance, right? Possibly a work project that you might have been putting off, not thinking about, didn't know if it was going to work out. But this is saying take that risk, right? We got the dice here ready to roll out. And then you got the support. because this is the hand of God that's handing you this. And you can trust God. You can trust something that comes from God. It's not like something that comes from man, right? That could have strings attached. There could be lies. There could be deceit. You know what I mean? There could be so many manipulations, but not when it comes from God. God doesn't work that way, right? Let's see. Find your harmony. Okay, this is about remembering who you are, which really goes together with what I said. It's about creating that, that way of life for you, the rules of your life, the rules for anyone that wants to be a part of your life, right? How people need to behave in order to work with you. And look what we got. This is good. This is good. Find your harmony. And we got the High Priestess, which is all about using your intuition, right? That is the smartest thing that you can do, right? Because the intuition comes from the true self, not from the ego. A lot that we do comes from the ego, from things that were learned behaviors. But your intuition comes from within. And that's what we need to remember. And this is what it's saying. Find harmony. Remember your worth. Remember who you are. Remember that this is the best answer to any question that you have, using intuition to guide you and get those answers. Like, this is what you need to do. This is how you'll remember who you are, going within, using your intuition to answer those questions in life. And we got lucky symbol, crucial card. Tell me about the lucky symbol. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, lucky symbol. Tell me about the lucky symbol. Oh, okay. It's pretty aggressively flied out. Okay, we got Queen of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, Knight of Swords, Six of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. I see it. All right, so you're presenting here as the Queen of Pentacles, right? A person that's very stable, independent, kind of a homebody, could be a parent, a person that's very organized and maintains not only a household, but like stability within that household, and possibly does it on their own, right? They could be married, but that's not necessarily a thing here. And then we've got the Seven of Wands is about being defensive. And here's the funny part. We got the Six of Cups, which is all about people from the past, right? So we've got a person from the past presenting a Knight of Swords energy, which is a person that's rushing in, right? It could be they're rushing in to argue and fight. They're rushing in to try to stop something. But the point is that they're coming in fast, right? But you're defensive against this person, right? Because of the things that happened in the past, because of those 10 swords that you took in your back. You had to walk away because of the 10 swords. So now you have to hold this protective energy up, which also makes sense as to why you're in this Queen of Swords energy, because you have to stand your ground. You have to be defensive with this person, because if they come back in, they are just going to stick more swords in your back. This is why you got away in the first place. This is why you jumped in this damn chariot and took off and got out of there, right? So now this person from the past, they're rushing in, you see? And this card came out together with this one. So they're attempting to come in, and if you see, the angle is perfect on this. They're attempting to come in and you're blocking it. They can't rush in here. And the point of this is you standing your ground and you holding your own is what's going to bring in your Wheel of Fortune, right? Because it's weird. It's weird the way this works. You know what I'm saying? Here on this planet. The way you value yourself, and it's kind of like the respect that you have for yourself is what brings in abundance, right? The better you care for yourself, the more love and respect you show yourself, the more opportunities come in for you. Because even though it seems like, oh, no one's seeing this isn't affecting anyone else, but it is. Because God, your angels, your spirit guides, the universe sees every action that you take and responds, right? It returns that energy that you're putting in. So increasing your love for yourself and your protection of yourself from someone that you know is not beneficial to you is what communicates to the universe, oh, yeah, she's worthy. She knows how much she's worth. Things need to change here, right? You need things to change in a positive direction. Why? Because you've been making positive changes. And you've communicated to the universe, I'm not doing this. I'm protecting myself from someone who wants to put freaking swords in my back. No. And then you're coming in with the 11th sword? No, thank you, sir. You can move on about your way. Because I have learned from this, right? You as the collective. We have learned from this already. We've blocked this energy out. We're not going to take another sword in the back. We're not doing that. So it looks like being defensive and protecting yourself and protecting possibly your money, because I don't know if that's a factor here, because you're showing up as independent, as a queen. This person is still showing up as a knight, which is an in and out person. It's not a person that's stable. It doesn't really speak on independence. This is a person that's, very quick to jump. Like these energies that they're just jumping from one thing to the next. And if you've had these experiences with this person in the past, I wouldn't do it either. There's no reason for you to take another sword. You've taken enough. You've moved on. Now it's time for you to experience this Wheel of Fortune, to experience the things that are meant for you, the wins that you have in life, right? And that's what the universe is going to bring you. You communicate to the universe. You show yourself love, respect, and the universe sees and interprets that into, we need to send better things. We need to send stable things, more opportunities. We need to send things to a person that is actually going to use them, right? Because what's the point of sending new opportunities to a person that is going to keep taking swords in their back? There's no point, right? So you've communicated to the universe that you know that there's better for you. And you're going to look for that better for you out there. And so the universe is going to bring it to you. That's what this Wheel of Fortune is about. And I think this is incredible. And I'm actually really proud because it's really hard. You know what I mean? Because once you've taken so many swords in your back, it kind of becomes like the norm. So a lot of people that stay, in these types of relationships, they just keep taking shots. They don't even try to move forward or move out of it. So moving out of this energy and moving away from this person that did this to you, putting your sword up and protecting yourself, that is something to be proud of. And I'm proud of you guys. I'm glad you did it. And I only see positive things in the future for you guys. So it's going to be great. I love y'all. I hope you guys enjoy the reading. And I'll see you again soon with another reading. Take care. Bye.